Today we're going to try Great Value's Chicken Florentine meal. Not exactly new, but it's new to me. I've never had it. I've been exploring these Great Value meals a lot more lately, and I've liked a lot of them. I have disliked some of them. It's hit or miss, so Chicken Florentine is the next on the list. Roasted white meat chicken, spinach, red peppers, mushrooms, and Alfredo sauce over fettuccine pasta. That all sounds really good to me. This sounds like it could be the perfect meal, assuming that Great Value nails it. Sometimes they cheap out and put like no chicken, no meats in it. Sometimes they're really good, so it's really hard to tell with them what kind of quality you're going to get, which sucks. But that's why I'm here, I guess, so I can tell you if this is worth the money or not. $3.24. It's, you know, pretty standard price for a frozen meal. $3.24. You're not going to get too many cheaper than that, besides like really bargain bin stuff. But there are, you know, good quality options at $4 or $5. Kind of in the middle, so we'll see if it's worth it. Directions: we're going to microwave. Remove tray from carton, cut 2-inch slit in film, place in microwave, cook on high 4 to 5 minutes. Use pot holders to carefully remove tray from microwave, remove film, let stand 1 minute. So pretty standard instructions. Cut a slit in it, put it in there for 4 or 5 minutes, let it sit for a minute, and then go ahead and eat it. So I'm really hopeful. It's 8 ounces. It's a good, decent size. I'm hopeful that this will be a nice frozen, you know, lunch or whatever you want to say. Let's open it up and see what it looks like, because I found that seeing what things look like when they're still frozen does kind of impact it. If I can see individual bits of chicken and bell pepper and mushroom in here, then I'm going to be a little bit more excited about it. But if it kind of looks like a mishmash, then I'll be a little bit more disappointed. This is more impressive than I would have thought, honestly. I kind of wish there was more mushrooms, but there is a good amount of chicken that you can see in there. The ring light's kind of screwing it up, but you can see the individual ingredients, which is always a good sign in these. So let me pop it in the microwave and we'll see what we get in 4 to 5 minutes plus a minute of rest. Okay, here we are, fresh out of the microwave. I like the look of it. I like the smell of it. I feel like there's a good amount of chicken. What I don't feel like is there's a good amount of mushrooms and red peppers compared to the box. I feel like they put a lot of mushrooms and red peppers on here. Not so much in here, but it's close enough to where I'm not really that angry about it. Now it really comes down to the taste. Does this taste really good for $3.24? That's the whole point of the video. I don't know why I'm saying that again. Let me just take a bite, try to get some chicken in there and all that good stuff, and let you know. Mixed opinions on this one, although I did enjoy it to the point where I ate the whole thing. No problems there. It's just a little bit too salty. That's my number one issue, which is a very, very major issue. Now, a lot of frozen meals are salty, don't get me wrong. When you look at a lot of frozen meals and you look on the back at the nutrition facts, you'll see a salt number that'll make you go, whoa, hey. So I generally avoid looking at that. But when I'm doing a review, I want to look at that, especially with the taste of this. It just has an overwhelming salty taste, especially the chicken. I feel like it's the chicken where the salt is, you know, conglomerated, like they extra salted the chicken, which makes sense, I guess, because the chicken is not bad quality necessarily, but it's not good quality chicken either. You can tell that it's cheaper chicken, but it's not bad chicken. Like I've had many frozen meals or frozen items where the chicken is so bad that you don't even want to eat it. This is, you know, it's okay quality chicken, but super, super, super salty. And like I said, I eat so many frozen meals. I eat chips, you know, I eat all salty stuff all the time. And I rarely notice the salt in terms of being overwhelming. Like I'll notice the taste of it, but very rarely is salt overwhelming to me. And it was very overwhelming in this dish, especially in bites with the chicken, which I noticed. Once I had a bite without the chicken, I liked the flavor a lot more because it was less salty and had more of a kind of Alfredo cheesy sauce flavor, which is great. But the salt is just insane. We have 780 milligrams in here, 34% of your daily value, and this is a pretty small meal. This is like a lunch size meal. I don't know if you'd really be eating this for dinner because it's fairly small. It's more of a lunch kind of thing, or like even a snack, because it says it's 8 ounces, but it really didn't even feel like 8 ounces. I'm not sure if that counts like the container. It probably does, but it really didn't feel like a substantial meal, which is why I ate it all. It felt more like a quick lunch or a light lunch or a snack, but just so salty. I can't get over it necessarily. Like, I wish there was more mushrooms and red peppers, but the mushrooms and red peppers didn't really have much of a taste because it was overwhelmed by the salt. When I got a bite that wasn't with the chicken and it was less salty, I tasted the Alfredo sauce. It tasted like cheesy Alfredo sauce, but again, I didn't really get a separate flavor from the mushrooms or the red peppers there either. It felt like they were just kind of like filler, and not necessarily an added flavor. They didn't really add anything to the dish. Like, I feel like if you're getting real chicken Florentine, which I don't think I've ever had. I don't think I've ever been to a restaurant and said, hey, give me the chicken Florentine. I assume that the mushrooms would have their own flavor. I love mushrooms. I like the taste of mushrooms. I feel like they would make they're good in pasta generally. They would make a good addition to this dish if they had a mushroom flavor, but really they don't have a taste. They don't really have anything to add to this meal. The same with the red peppers. It really is more like, hey, here's chicken noodles and fettuccine, not fettuccine, and Alfredo sauce. That's what you're getting. And it's just so salty that I do like it. I feel like I would maybe potentially buy it again, but it's just so salty that I kind of feel like I won't, because it feels bad. It feels like I'm hurting myself actively while I'm eating this, even though I do kind of like the taste. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I was almost leaning towards a 4, but it's just too much. I feel like most people who eat this will be overwhelmed by the saltiness of the flavor and not like it at all. For me, again, I'm more built up to it. I eat a lot of fast food and salty stuff, so even for me with a high tolerance, I barely liked it. So that's my issue. I think it could be a quality dish if they just downed the salt just a little bit. Just put a little bit less salt in it. But as it is, it's a 3 out of 5. I think it's good. It could be better. It could be so much better with less salt. But there is still potentially people, if you have less of a tolerance, or I mean more of a tolerance to salt, you might like it more than me. But I don't know how many people out there have more of a tolerance to salt, because again, as I've said many times, I eat a lot. So that's chicken Florentine by Great Value. A miss, I think, but only a slight miss. It could have been good, just didn't hit it. So 3 out of 5, and I will see you all next time.